Vroom, 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 vroom. Honk, honk. Get in, losers. We're going struggling. Vroom, 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 vroom. Hello, friends, and welcome to another Ride and Struggle Bus, where every wheel is an empty triangle. Sorry it's been so long. I was on vacation, didn't really plan things out too well, so we just had that little bit of gap. But anyway, we are back. And tonight we are playing against a friend on our Discord server. So every once in a while when I plan these videos out, I will just post, a message and be like, hey guys, I'm playing a game tonight to do for the Bus Ride series. Is anybody interested in playing? And Paul reached out and said, yes, I'm interested in playing. So that is another reason to join the Discord server, because if you want to be a part of these series, I'm available and I post these things, and if you guys are available too, you get to play in these games. And so that is what Paul did. So anyway, it's an exciting game. Paul plays very strong, so we get to go over a lot of more meaty details than we normally would. There's a lot of shape play in this, a lot of attack and defense, just a good solid game to take a look at. So anyway, as per always, I'd like to thank my opponent for playing us today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching these videos, and I'd like to thank my Patreon subscribers for supporting this channel. So let's get into this game. Okay, here we go. We are playing against our friend who is a 10K, knocking on the door of single digit Q. Though he's pretty much at single digit Q. He kind of waffles between this and 9K, I believe. So I think just a few wins and he'll be back at his single digit Q self. So it'll be an interesting game, hopefully, where we get to focus on the basics and probably the beyond the basics a little bit as well. So, of course, we're going to be caring about corners, then the sides, then the center, and focusing on third and fourth line stones, doing all the things we know. So hopefully this is a variation that we are all used to at this point in time. Probably the most common one, other than the approach on 4-4 stone. But whenever you play 3-3 stone, or 3-4 stone rather, this is most likely going to happen. Usually black will play K3 or K4 here, and then we can leave this corner and go approach the 3-4 here, which I think we're going to do. I don't like symmetry, so I'm not going to approach high. I'll approach low, just because I don't want the game to be perfectly symmetric. This will break it up a little bit. We could have considered F3 or C6 if we wanted to strengthen our corner here. We could have invaded here. Okay, black chooses to go with the Kosumi. This is usually how I respond to the low approach, but there are certainly lots of options. We are just going to make a base here, and now black will usually Tanuki. And I was going to say, often this gets followed up with C6. We will respond to this with a very basic response. We will just come and slide back. This looks to undercut this a little bit, but black's obviously totally fine. And black chooses to do the attachment. We need to be a little careful with this attachment, Joseki, if you are not familiar with it. White will play this Hane. Black needs to play B3 now. Black cannot play B4. It makes it too small for black. And black also needs to know how to respond to this Atari here. So you want to know what? We're going to mix things up a little bit. The proper move is to play C5, but let's see if our friend knows how to handle this response. Because if you're going to play this variation, you need to know how to handle this response, because it looks like we Atari this stone and then go and capture this stone. And we do, right? We do capture this stone. But there's a slight issue with that. And the slight issue is when we get Atari'd on the outside, this stone ends up not living. So we will go and we will descend here. And now black can play E4 to capture this stone. It's not a huge loss for white. It's really not too huge. But let's see. We will go and connect underneath because I don't want this stone to be isolated. So we'll do this Atari. If black extends, we will play e2 to connect to our stone. If black captures, we will play e3 to connect. We just want to connect to this stone. And so black plays here, so we will play this. And so here, this is like the classic exchange of one player gets territory and the other player gets influence. And the computers, the pros, say that this influence that black has now is stronger than the territory that white is getting. So, but then the onus is on black to make that true. So here, black threatens to potentially kill this stone. But the question is, where's black going to play if we Tanuki? Does f2 work? I don't know. It's a little tricky to see if f2 works. Either way, we will extend here. Since we are pushing ahead and pushing on the third line, this doesn't feel too bad. If we were pushing from behind, and or if we were pushing on the second line, I probably would not be doing this here because it would not be a good exchange for white. But since we're pushing ahead, and since we're still getting third line stones, this is okay. Okay, so our friend pushes, and so here, if we don't push, then we can get hit on the head of 2, which we really don't like. So we are going to push at least one more time. I do question if black extends, if we will push again. I think we'll probably just jump to k2, just close out the territory, and give black all this crazy influence, but that is okay. Typically, I'm the one who's getting influence, and so you guys tend to see a lot of games where I have the influence and work with that. So maybe we'll switch it up a little bit with this game, and I'll be playing with a more territorial playstyle. You'll notice I have a lot of third line stones on this board. We've got 2 third line stones here, 2 third line stones here, these third line stones, and these third line stones. I don't have a single fourth line stone on this board yet. So I'm not really following my rules too much. But I really haven't had an opportunity to go and get fourth line stones yet. But as this game goes on, we will need to focus on getting a little bit of influence and not just territory. So black can play j3 if he wants. We will block, but this does end with black getting sente. Black should not play something like m3. These 3 stones are fine. They are strong. There's no territory for black to be gained here, so there's nothing to protect here. So a move like m3 would be really small, as would something like l3, because they're not sente. We don't need response to them. But I would not fault black if he chose to play j3 right here. But either way, hopefully he's considering a move like g16, h15, or just going and taking the corner, because we do still have a corner that is a little bit open. We aren't quite past the corners and the sides and the center. Okay, I like this move. So, okay. So now what are we going to do? We're kind of past corners. The corners have all been spoken for. And so now we want to move to the sides. And we've got this side. The potential here is actually pretty small because we both have third line stones. So neither of us really have a good extension off of that. The top, there is a fourth line stone. So we could consider a move like 017, which is pretty high in the list of where I would play. Or we could go look to break in here. For now, there's an easier, like this is a large area, but there's an easier one to go for here. So we will just play this approach on this corner and see what we can get here. And so black kicks. So the question is, do we just want to extend? Or do we want to go play a move like this? If we play here, black will get to Hane on top and we'll crawl back. Not a huge fan of that. Also, we just got attached to, and we respond to attachments either with a Hane or an extension. So in this case, we're going to extend. We can't Hane. We certainly can't play P18. That just would not be a great move. So we're going to do this. The reason P18 would not be a great move is there is still a lot of Aji with R17. R17 is a pain to deal with. Okay, Here, let's see, we did get attached to, and we do have the rule that says we should respond to attachments, and so we will. This one we actually don't really need to, but there isn't much harm in playing this, and it does follow our rules. So if you're ever unsure what to do, that's what the rules are there. They say to respond to attachments, so we are responding to the attachment. And then black plays here. And so you'll notice I hovered. I was like, we are going to Hane. But I don't think we need to Hane. The follow-up here isn't particularly painful for us. If we Hane and black Hanes, now all of a sudden this becomes a real problem. And this is something that comes up in our games quite frequently, right? This happens to your games. This happens to my games. Black is building up something big over here, and so we eventually need to invade this. We eventually need to do something. The question is when. When is the timing to do that? Generally, the advice that I give is if your opponent plays one more move and you just can't see yourself invading or reducing well, then that is the time. If black gets a move like d10 right now, oh, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get any good reduction here. So I think now is the time. With that said, maybe I'll let black get another move so we can go over invasion stuffs, because I still really like going over invasion stuffs. So we are going to let black get one more move. I just want to point out that if this was my game, I'm probably playing d10 here to break this up right now. But okay, we will go and play this move in response to this move. It makes our group stronger. It builds our potential. So we're in the middle game, so we still care about strength. I haven't brought it up yet, but we care about strength of groups. We care about potential. So this keeps our group stronger and builds the potential here. Doesn't build points. This area is not ours yet. It's still pretty easy to invade, but this builds the potential. Now if we get one more move, something like L16, this becomes a pretty big territory for us. Of course, if we're looking at potential, this side is larger. Again, I would have played something like d10. So hopefully our friend plays something like d10 and we can go over the options for how we can invade that. Okay, so black plays here, this little peep. I like the move. If we respond here, we'll get pretty over-concentrated, but then black will have a weak stone. If we play on top, it'll give us some more strength to invade here. If we play underneath, it will secure more territory for us. In this case, I actually think I want to go for the territory. Just staying consistent with what this game, what the plan has been for us, and we'll just be looking to reduce this big area. Though if you wanted to play on top or connect, I think those are both fine options. But in this case, I'm just going to treat this as if it was a shoulder hit, and we just kind of have this stone here, which is going to be a little bit of a pain for black to deal with. And so if this stone wasn't here, I think this would be the natural move to do. And honestly, I don't think this stone changes things too much. Obviously, black can push through and separate, but at that point in time, we can just Hane, and I think things will be okay for us. Okay, and so black extends. We will extend as well. This threatens the cut. These two stones are strong enough for now, so I don't think we need to help them too much. Okay, and so black plays here. I think we do want to go and cut stones here, though now these two stones are going to be a little lonely. But so are these two stones, and both groups are leaning against pretty strong groups. And so I think this will be fine. So, but now we need to jump. So here we can actually do the 2-space extension. The reason we can do this is P16 is Sente for us. So if black tries to cut this, we can play P16, which will help connect up. And so we'll see that if our friend plays that way. So black needs to be a little careful. because now we're potentially running into his big territory here. But before we do that, we've got this group that we need to worry about. So let's keep on keeping on here, and we will jump out as well. Make sure we keep this group nice and strong. Because again, we are in the middle game. We care about strength of groups, and we care about potential. We have a weak group on the board, so we must take care of that first. Okay, so now the question is this group strong enough? Is it? It looks like it is or isn't. We don't know. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one for sure. I think I would like to play one more move here just to make the group a little bit stronger. And so we'll go and play this shape point. And by a little bit stronger, I mean this makes it a lot stronger. But it's a pretty slow move. It does build potential here, though. So it does both things for strengthening our groups and potential. Right? Focusing on strength of groups, focusing on potential. Now this right side is the potential is there, right? The points aren't there yet. The potential is there. And of course, there's a huge potential over here. So curious to see where our friend plays. Hopefully something like D10, and that's really going to force us to have to consider how we're going to invade over here. Okay, but first, our friend chose to play over here. So we have been attached to. We must respond to these attachments either with an extension or a Hane. The Hane, I think, is a little dangerous just because there's a lot of Aji with this cut here. And so because of that, I don't think we can quite get away with this unless we intend on sacrificing these two stones. Do we intend on sacrificing those two stones? I don't think so. So I don't think we can do a Hane here. Because then if black cuts, black gets a free Atari here, and then maybe you can play something like 014, which kind of makes things really tough for us. So we're just going to play here. Play this nice shape move to make our small table, and make the group quite stronger. Of course, we lose out on the potential here. We're going to have trouble getting both in this situation because we have a weak group. But I think we needed the strength more than we needed the potential in this case. Now, though, we can play the Hane. We've got good strength here. This cut is no longer difficult to deal with because we've got more liberties, which is the whole point of extending, is to get liberties. And so now we've got those, and so we've got this opportunity to Hane, and so that is what we're going to do. Okay, and so our friend plays here. A fine move. This is threatening our cut a little bit more. So in this situation, I think we can go and just take our Sente move right now. This threatens to kill the P17 stone, so black probably should play Q17, at which point we can play P13 and be nice and connected to these two stones. Okay, and so black does connect. We are just going to play this. Fun little shape move. Stays connected here. This stone is nicely placed. That's kind of the whole point of the table shape, is that if your opponent presses, you can play this, and you already have a stone on the vital point for the shape. Okay, and so black looks to cut. We will connect. And now if black plays a cut here, we can descend and get a double Atari. That's how we're able to stay connected. And now if black plays P15, that's pretty solid because it comes in Sente, gets black a really large corner. So if black's going to play this move, black should probably follow it up with P15. So let's see if that is what our friend does. He does not. He says, I am going to ask for all the things here. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. This looks hard, but there is a lot of room here. So much room here. So what are we going to do? We need to invade. Now is absolutely the time. And it's not going to be an easy invasion. When we're looking at invasions like this, we have to consider, is our goal to just try to live on the side, or is the goal try to get in and get out? If the goal is get in and get out, you play a fourth line stone. If your goal is to live, you play a third line stone. In this case, I'm going to play a third line stone. And I'm going to play here. The reason I want to play here is it allows me to get a 2-point extension here or a 2-point extension here. This one hurts a little more, so black should probably play c9 here. And then we'll see how this goes. We are very likely going to sacrifice this stone. That is one of the big things with invasions is first stone you play, just plan on sacrificing it. It makes things a lot easier. So in this case, things are going to be tricky. We can look to play this and try to get a base, but I don't think that we're going to have much luck with it. So what are we going to do? We're going to move real quick. We're going to do this 2-space jump. Hopefully black now tries to cut this stone off, and we can get some forcing moves to get this stone stronger while black kills this stone. That is like the purpose of this sacrificial stone, is just make it tricky for black, threaten to get life. If black doesn't do anything about this, like by playing a move like this, all the while trying to get strength for this stone. So our friend is going to make this tough. So he should. Okay, so what are we going to do now? There's a lot of room here. And there's a lot of room to break through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach. This is a strong stone. We are allowed to attach to strong stones, especially in this situation. If you guys know, the reason that we don't like attaching to stones in general is it makes their stone stronger and our stone stronger. In this case, we want our stones to be stronger. The stronger our stones are, the tougher it is going for our opponent to handle it. Okay, so our opponent just extends back. What are we going to do now? We are going to try to make some shape. And we need big shape. We need big moves. So we're going to play this move. We're just now trying to look to either get 2 eyes or break through this here. And so if black plays over here, we're going to start playing some shape moves to try to get 2 eyes. If black plays something like this, we are just going to run out and try to connect again. This stone can be sacrificed. We do not need to save this stone. If we try to save all these stones, we're going to lose everything here. We just need something to live. This is tough for black. This is tough for white. This is a tricky situation. And something that we will certainly go over in the review. Okay, so black is saying, nope. We're gonna try to kill, and that is fine. So now it's time to start playing some moves to get a little eye space. So we're going to play here this little shoulder hit, which threatens to push through. That'd be pretty bad for black, and so this obviously will help get us some eye space here. I'm curious to see where black plays. Does black play c8 or does black play d9? Tricky indeed. Okay, so black is looking to split us. Interesting. If we play here, we can connect to this stone. That's a pretty cool thing, huh? No, it's not. Stop trying to save the stone. Let the stone die. Okay, do not try to save the stone. You're going to lose everything if you try to save that stone. So we're just going to play here and try to get eye space. This stone, you need to let it go. Of course, now if we're able to connect to this, then we get some pretty okay eye space here. Okay, so what do we need to do now? We need to play some more shape moves. If we play here, it threatens to connect to this stone. but then there's this annoying diagonal. So let's go and play this first. Threaten to push through. Black is pretty obligated to block this one, I think. I don't think black wants to deal with the push that we get with this. So I think it makes sense for black to block here. And so black does. And now we're just going to continue playing our shape moves to try to get some ice space. This threatens to connect up to this stone, which really isn't an issue, except if we connect, then D8 threatens to kill these 3 stones. So does black just capture now? If black captures now, then we got this move for free, and that's pretty okay. So let's continue getting some ice space, shall we? If we play a move like this, we're now, really threatening to get 2 eyes here, and that is the goal here. It's just live. All we need to do is live now. Okay, very predictably, black blocks. So what do we want to do now? I think that we actually might have enough to live here, as is. So let's go firm up our borders. We will play here, which threatens this cut. This cut is pretty annoying, so black should probably extend to C8. It's probably the most effective way to fix the cut, but there are lots of ways to do it. And connecting is certainly one of them. So what do we want to do now? Are we already alive? Really tough to say, to be truthful. So I'm going to extend here. Black can probably Tanuki this. If black decides we're done here, white's alive, then black can Tanuki. If black thinks there's still Sente moves against this group, then black can continue playing. Okay, and so black plays here. I'm unsure that that this is Sente. This group just might be alive as is. Really, the only move that I'm worried about is G10 here. So I'm going to go and play this, which preemptively fixes this cut, and looks to get in here a little bit. Okay, and black plays here. That's a kind of a weird one, kind of a weird move. But we'll just keep it simple, and we will just block. Though I do not think this move was Sente. I think black should have played elsewhere. But hopefully, if black is playing moves like this, black recognizes that he has Sente and can go find some big moves, maybe something like P7, or threaten to cut here with P9 and then into P7. That's probably a pretty nice option. But black plays here. It's very small. This stone is not important. We can let this stone go. And so let's just gently nudge our opponent and let him know that we don't care about this stone. And we're going to play here instead. Hopefully this clues him in that we're probably done over here and we should be finding the big moves to play. Okay. But our friends did respond to our second line move with another second line move. Okay, let's just go and play this. We're 1,000% alive. Can't be more than 100%. We are 100% alive now. And so now black definitely has Sente here. Let's see if we can find a good move. Okay, so black just took the cut immediately. Does this cut work? I like it. Black does have some very serious strength here now. And this is the type of thing where if we extend and this doesn't work, the game is kind of over. And do we want to get involved with that? Honestly, a tough question. Tougher still because it requires reading, and I prefer to not just do heavy reading for these games. So you want to know what? We will just go and take the Atari. If this was, if this was a league game of mine or whatnot, I would obviously be reading if this worked. I would have been reading if it worked long before, right? Because we need to we need to always assess our cuts. So I kind of broke a rule here. We knew this cut was here, and so we needed to be actively reading that cut. We can't read it after they cut. You need to be sure that this cut does not work. So shame on me for a little bit, but this was more important. And if this is the sacrifice that we need to make to get something over here to live, that is fine by me. Okay, so black plays there. That's fine. This is pretty small in the grand scheme of things. I had mentioned that this is kind of our last big area of potential, and so I think we need to do something with this group here. So let's go push in here and see what we can do here. Okay, I like this move. It's kind of a double peep. But you want to know what? I think we can play here. I think either would have been fine, but we'll connect here, and we'll just work on making this group get a second eye. So what do we want to do here? Do we just want to try to connect? Sure, we'll just try to connect. We'll keep it real simple because this threatens to play Q7, which will connect our group up. So black does want to do something about that. And now we'll start playing some shape moves. We will play this just to extend off of this wall. We already have an eye with P12. I don't think black can get rid of that eye. So we already have one. And now if black's going to play the wedge, then we get to Atari. And this helped us a lot more than it helped black. Black should probably just Tanuki now. This was, I think, a little bit of a whoops, because now we can look at a move like this, and we're most assuredly alive now. I don't think a move like N9 is too problematic, but we'll see. If he plays N9, we just connect, and if he pushes, we connect here, and I still think we are okay. Okay, black extends. Yeah, we want to make sure that this group doesn't die. So we will just connect. Does this threaten anything? I don't think so. There is a cut here and a cut here, but black's got a bunch of liberties, so he is probably fine with that. Okay, and so black plays this move. Is this move Sente? I am unsure, but we are kind of in endgame, and this is a big endgame. So we will respond to this. And the thing with this is we've got this cut that we need to protect, but we don't need to stay this close. We can play a move like this, and that still protects this. So we'll go and play here because of black Ataris. We extend, and black Ataris, and we extend, and eventually we're just going to connect up to the stone. So we should be okay here. But black still has Sente. Okay. This does not do too much. A little unfortunate that that black gave us this. So we'll go and play here, threatens to kill this stone, and we've got two ways to connect to this. We can play here to connect, or we can play here to connect. So we actually don't need to do anything with that stone. So we've got a couple big moves. We can look. We're in endgame, so we can look at something like S8. Pretty big. We can look at something like E13, also pretty big. Let's just play this. This seems a little safer just because of the potential cut. If we had played here, the potential cut that starts with E13. So we'll extend. This threatens to push in, and then we will push in here. This is a pretty big move because black cannot play black can play C8, but then we were able to connect up. Kind of eats up a lot of the potential here, and so now we have transitioned fully into endgame. I have not counted. Hopefully, this is enough. This is a big move. This is a big move by black. So good job there. I don't think we can respond to this. I think just the monkey jump is what it is. Um, so let's go. Let's go Atari this stone. Um, Admittedly, this was kind of me running out of time. I've only got 2 time periods left. Okay, well, let's see what code threat our friend finds. Because we should at least do this. Yeah, just connecting honestly seems appropriate to me. Okay, so where do we have the end game? I don't know. That's a little tricky. That's a little tricky. I guess we will just play here. This at least comes in Sensei, though it's really not that big. Yep, so black does need to block there. That is fine. Do we need to really just come back and block this? I really don't want to. It's a really gross move, and I don't like it. But it's what we're going to play, I think. Oh, I hate it. I hate it, guys. But I didn't really see anything hugely larger than that. So that is what we went with. But we did get black to respond, so there is at least that. Okay. So what now? I think playing here, it threatens to connect. Gets a few more points here. Looks to break through here. Nothing too big, but it is a large second line move. We are in endgame. Second line moves are pretty large in endgame. So this seems reasonable. And black does block. That is not surprising. We will go and block here. This shape is really disgusting. I hate all of it. But we should be fine if black tries anything because we've got both R2 and S3. Okay. This is fine. We will go and Atari this. Okay. And this is actually interesting because if I capture, I can just connect here. But sure, we will go and connect here. Just keep it real simple. Black really needs to play O1. It's a big move. And black does play O1. So if black plays R2, this looks pretty, potentially problematic. So let's just go fix that right now. Just be done with it. Okay. So black plays here, which now does make this Sente. We will go and play this. And interestingly, do we need to play G18? I don't think we do. Let's go play here just to see what kind of points we can get here. I don't think it's going to be many, but we will see. Okay, and we can just extend here. I don't think we're going to get very many points here, but there aren't too many other points to have on this board. B5 is a thing. L18's big. We should probably play L18. But we will go and protect our points here as well. Yep, that was pretty big. So we will connect here, and we will push at B5. This is another move that I've been looking at for quite a bit. That is fine, and we will go and play here. Though honestly, at this point, there really isn't much left in this one. Just nitty gritty end game. So let's pause it here, I guess, and I'll see you guys at the end of the game. Okay, guys. So here we are at the end of the game, and it ended with a pretty good little silly here. I ended up losing a group and losing the game because of it. Though our opponent played very well this game. You guys should check out the link for the game itself. You'll be able to see, and if you do, you'll be able to see that the AI graph says that black is ahead for most of this game, which is always fantastic to see. Again, Paul's a pretty strong player, right? He's pretty much right on that cusp of single-digit cube play, And so, you know, with players of that strength, if we give them opportunities, they're going to take it, and they're going to find ways to win games. With that said, our friends certainly could have done things a little differently. So let's go take a look at the review of this game and see where our friend could have played better. Okay, so here we are in the review, and honestly, you know, most of the big comments I had for this game, I said during the game itself. You know, all of this makes sense. I was glad to see that Paul knows this punishment. Again, it's really important for this variation that you guys be comfortable with a couple things. So thing one, we need to know that this is not the follow-up. I see this move quite a bit, and if white's able to get this, white gets a lot more here than black does. So we can't play this. This is often why these three things I'm going to go over is often why I do not recommend this for newer players. But again, Paul's clearly comfortable with it. Black plays here. So the other thing we need to be comfortable with is accepting the fact that as long as we get this, this is a better result for black. But you need to be able to use this influence well. In this case, with these two stones here, this is going to be some really strong influence that's really going to dominate the rest of the game. So this is a good position for black. Thing three is you need to know, so this is the typical response, right? We play here. We need to know how to deal with this move because it is not easy. It really complicates the game because black's going to play here, and then we need to know what to do here. We're not going to go over this right now. You should study this one on your own because it's complicated. Just go to the Joseki tool, see the variations, but you'll notice it gets fairly complicated here. Enough that I often have to read it out. You know, this is something that I study as well because it is fairly complicated. But typically your opponents are just going to be playing here and then doing this, and we Atari and then extend. This is the typical variation, but there is some risk there. But anyway, Paul handled this very well. And so here, I think it's fine for black to play this. Here, I might Tanuki as black, but pushing seems fine, and this seems fine as well. I think all of this makes sense. Here is probably the first comment I have. So black obviously has some pretty fantastic influence here. And with these two stones, there's lots of potential here, like lots and lots and lots of potential. So I would probably be looking to capitalize on that. And I would probably just go to push here and then do this variation if white allows it. This is pretty monstrous for black, and now black could go and take this Hane to get the corner and just get this huge potential and ask white, hey, what are you going to do about this? Because this is really tough, and and while white does have more points than black, black's got all the potential on this board. Okay, so but black played here. It's reasonable, right? There's nothing too wrong with this. And again, I mentioned that we really can't play here because it just creates much too large of a monster here. So anyway, so we extend here, and black jumps in immediately. I think here now probably is just the time to play something like this and challenge white to do something with this, because yes, white has an okay amount of points in the bottom left and bottom right, but really not too many, and this left side's going to be enough to win the game by itself, I think. So I think this gives white the opportunity to mess up that left side a little bit, but this is a very interesting move. So let's see, so we extend, we get these exchanges, and here I think Paul does a good job of identifying that there's a weak group here that he can go after, run this group out, and then do something with that. And it's interesting because I mentioned in an intro that I set this game up. I reached out in the Discord. I was like, hey, who's available? Paul was available, and so he messaged me. And in the message that he sent, I scrolled up and saw an old message that he had sent to me requesting that I do a video going over how to attack for profit. And so I came into this game with, I'm like, I wonder if I can, find a good example for that. And we did find a good example for that, but Paul's the one who found the example because there's a weak group here. And so he decides to pressure this group, and while doing this, he's saying, I'm going to get more strength over here because this is where the potential is. And so if I can get some strength here and then find the timing to play a move like A, it's going to be really, really hard for white to do anything about this. So I really liked that, that it kind of came full circle with it. With that said, here, I think we probably need to do something like this now and just really say, this is mine. There's nothing you can do about it, and this game is over. This move does fix a bit of Aji, though. There is this move still, and especially with Q12 there, this is going to be a really painful. This is going to be a really painful thing. Black might have to do this variation, which really just isn't very great for Black, because the corner just gets really, really, really small this way. So this move seems reasonable. So we go and do this. I think this is fine, right? Because it's Sensei, and then Paul did come back with really the move. I didn't highlight it in the game. I may have even said that this move was weird. Did I say this move was weird? I hope not. Hopefully I said that this was a good move, because I really think this is probably the game-winning move here. Invasion in here is going to be very, very, very difficult. Again, I mentioned that I forget at what move it was, so it was right here that I would probably play this. But we didn't do that. Paul took the opportunity to really block us off with this. And now, realistically, any invasion here is going to be very difficult. But let's go over this invasion, because it was complicated, and there were certainly options. So we jumped in here, and I think this is the correct first move. Again, playing here, white can play A or B to get a base, but playing at B, I don't know if we actually get a base there because we're leaning up against a really strong group. So I like that black played here, and playing away from strength is kind of weird in this case because black's strong on both sides. But I do think this is the correct place because there's less room on the left, or on the upper side rather. And because there's still some Aji with this stone, maybe we can consider this the weaker side. Again, I think this is correct. We play here, and now black has decided, okay, I'm going to, I think this is black saying I'm going to try to kill this stone. But here, this is where we're playing a little too close to strength, I think. This move looks a little more defensive than it needs to be. For me, I'm probably looking at a move like this. I know that white is going to sacrifice this stone. And if that's the case, we really want to punish and get as many points as possible. This will be enough to win the game if this happens. And if white gets a little stubborn here and tries to connect up, I don't think white's going to be able to live here. I think this is all going to go very, very, very poorly for white. And even if white lives, I think it'll just end the game. So that's a little off. If black wants to block, we can block here. This again, this aims to kill this group, which I think black is in every right to do in this situation. This is a very deep invasion. Black is strong all over the place. But there are two options. Option one is just say, I'm going to try to kill this group and go all in. Or just say, I am going to cut off this stone. They're willing to sacrifice, but I'm going to take a lot of points with it. This, I think, just gives white too many opportunities, which we were able to take here. And so, all of these are kind of forcing moves for white. And I think it started with H12 giving us the room to live here. With that said, the fact that we live here doesn't matter, right? Black has now just secured this entire side of the board, right? Black has like 30 points here. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot for us to come back from. And if black could recognize that this is done in Sente, then it's all the better. So here, I think black should probably just go, okay, we're done here. White's alive. I've already gotten my profit, which is a ton of points here from this attack. White's gotten a handful of points here, but then I get Sensei, and I'm going to play a move like this. Or go threaten the cut and then play a move like this. And I think this will absolutely end the game. Though, according to AI, black is plenty ahead in this game. But yeah, I think black needed to find that, especially here, we've got Sente, or black has Sente, right? If black says, I've got the timing to play this move right now, then black is saying, I have Sensei, and if that's the case, we need to be looking at the big potential on the board, which is now here. So again, I think black had found something like this, then it's a much easier game. But again, black did end up winning this one, so it's hard for me to say that what he did was incorrect, because sometimes all you need to do is get that win. So again, very happy to see with how strong Paul played here. Anyway, that is where we're going to leave this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I know I did. I'm happy to be back and being able to play again. And so we'll have plenty more of these coming. So anyway, as per always, thanks for coming out for another Iron Star West, where every wheel's an empty triangle. Have a good one, guys.